This month, we travel into the heartland of Victoria. Along the highways, past the farms, and deep along the eastern coast. At the end of our journey to beautiful Gippsland is Uncle Mack and his truly wonderful vinyl setup. And more than a few good stories.
From Japan, the Pioneer PL7L. Like I said, direct drive, oversized platter, a bit like your GT2000. And this thing, delivered from Japan, 8 years ago? It's never let me down. Beautiful thing. So, yeah, I've got a lot of faith in them, especially the turntables. And then you have this, which is, again, a beautiful big old vintage piece, which I acquired, and I love it. I love watching it work. Sometimes I just have the reels turning. But yeah, beautiful machine. Very industrial, weighs a ton, but has issues. These are prototype Leonard Audio symphony speakers. They were designed and built by Leonard Audio, Paul and John, right here in Gippsland. I'm very proud of that fact. But they're a four-way active speaker. There are twin 12-inch bass units inside the cabinet. You have a 15-inch mid-bass, a 3-inch compression driver horn mid-range, and a little, ribbon tweeter there. All driven and powered by Class D amplification. There is a DSP system involved. I've heard speakers, there's a lot of speakers out there are more detailed. They do have that finesse and they're more twinkly, These are a little bit more of a sledgehammer, but they still deliver everything I want in a speaker. So I'm very, very happy with them. I love them. This is how they came, and you close your eyes and it doesn't matter what they look like.
How many records are we talking about here?
Around 16, between 16 and 1700. Divided into, it's alphabetical, but also divided into genres, metal and hard rock. Various artists are somewhere there. 12-inch singles, avant-garde, soundtracks, jazz. I've got jazz now because I've been getting into a little bit of jazz, but that's there, just a little spot. Then you've got box sets across the top. My musical main interest has been, for many years, and growing up and everything, probably with the metal genre. Now probably I'm branching out a lot more musically, but all this is my metal and hard rock stuff that was fairly obscure, I think, sometimes, and but now is very sought after, and I've been lucky to pick some stuff up, like the Band of Light album, The Archer. One of my favourite bands from back in the day, Atomic Rooster. It's one of these albums that are done by a band that I'd never heard of. We heard this and it was like, what is this? It's magnificent, It was heavy and it was just something new. And then I heard the rest of Atomic Rooster and a lot of it was nothing like this. So there are these bands that bring out albums like this. They're one heavy album. Jethro Tull, Aqualung. He never did anything like Aqualung again. This is a gem. There's some sort of pretty brutal sort of doom, death sort of doom metal there, and I try things out. Doom metal is probably my favourite genre, and probably because of these guys. They were sort of the godfathers of it all, and of course, one of the greatest albums of all time. From one of the best bands of all time, as far as I'm concerned, they're the kings. Good story of this album. When I was at school, every year there'd be like a new album come out, or somebody would discover an album. I remember we went to a mate of mine's house after school. We'd go after school. He said, come to my place. Went around there, and we're playing some music, and then all of a sudden he gets his stack. He's got this stack of records, and because we knew the album was imminent. We knew it was coming out. There was a new album coming out, but we didn't know what, Then he pulls this out from in the middle of his stack, and I was like, God, he's got it. He was the first one to get it. And I was spewing. I was really jealous. But then we spent the next 2 hours just playing that over and over again. Phenomenal. Another huge favourite of mine, but Budgie, love him. Great Welsh three-piece. Sadly, old Burke died a couple of years ago, but yeah, they're a brilliant band, brilliant three-piece band, underground pretty much. These guys here, and again, that's their first album, Lucifer's Friend. This is this is the original, I think, the Billingsgate pressing. Yeah, beauty. But this masterpiece, German sort of proto-metal masterpiece. Again, Hammond organ again, huge sounds. Oh, what an album! What a magnificent album. Then they brought out, like that. And I think I've heard this once, and I think it was rubbish. and then this one here as well, Good Time Warrior. I don't know. They said it went glammy and not heavy at all. That really upset me, you know. Sword Baltimore, Kingdom Come, out of New York. This is the reissue. I've got the original there. Three-piece, hard rock, heavy, fantastic album. And it was just, it's a bit, sort of a little bit punky, sort of maybe, but just a good high-energy album. And yeah, we played that. It was like, fuck. Now we have to import it. We have to go to a shop. I think I can't remember where we got it from, but we had to go to a shop and get them to import it from the States for us because it was a phenomenon. The classical section is smaller, of course. I mean, there's some good, nice box set stuff, which a Furtwängler box set, fantastic. RAIS recordings from 47 to 54. Sound quality on these things, they say original dynamics. So I haven't done anything to compress it. It's phenomenal. Of course, the great man himself. And again, I wanted a box set of all of his symphonies, a good one, and there's several to get. There's some really good things out there, but this is a bit of an old standard, and it's probably his best cycle, I think. I don't know. Again, I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. Here's something I like a lot. This is the Max Richter Vivaldi recomposed, he calls it. Yeah, went to see him do this live with members of the New Blood Orchestra from New York. And just magnificent. It was beautiful. He does something different with it, and some people hate it, but a lot of people love it, and I think it's magnificent. This I love a lot. The Elgar Cello Concerto, Jacqueline Dupre. Beautiful version, beautiful recording. It's just something very special about this bit of music and her playing it. I went through a period of really getting to the soundtrack thing, so I love soundtracks. There's so much good music that comes out of movies. Yeah, of course, Hans Zimmer's in half of them, and John Williams is doing the other half, and then you've got some other bums doing the other stuff. But really good sounding records. A lot of them are really good sounding records. Big sounds. Of course, there's this thing here I got not that long ago, June. The music sort of it's a bit airy and sort of, but there are some moments in it that's shattering. Yeah, the big soundtracks usually come from big films, don't they? Like Jurassic Park. The soundtrack, that's it there. It's just huge. It's a Mondo pressing. But just the opening track, the theme from Jurassic Park, well, this is just sublime. It's huge. Love this. Same with their reissue pressing of Jaws. Massive. Jesus, the bass on this thing is just ridiculous. But it's thrilling, and I think that's what moving music needs to be, is thrilling, and it is. But not always. It's not always just about the bombast and the gigantic, giant themes. Sometimes some of it's, it's Hans Zimmer, isn't it? Yeah, it's Dunkirk. There's a lot of Hans Zimmerisms in them. But track 10 is Variation 15. It's from Elgar's Enigma Variations. He does this one piece. It's beautiful. It's just heartbreakingly beautiful. So, even guys like Hans Zimmer who, collapse worlds with music can do something really, really gentle and beautiful. So there's so much good music from films. Now this soundtrack's probably, and that film is probably responsible for me really enjoying classical music. But this album, and particularly Beethoven's Ninth, that's where it grew from. Absolutely. This beautiful record. The main title of this, the first track, sit in a dark room, listen to this track. It's the scariest music I've ever heard. It is friggin' creepy. So this is everything else, you know, pop, rock, country, yeah, whatever. Yeah, featuring probably the most featured artists I have here would be two of the greatest female artists of all time. Second greatest would be my friend Bjork, who I love her. I think she's just such a unique artist. I haven't got a latest album because I'm still trying to get through the dense friggin' swamp that is her last album. Wonderful stuff, but gee, she challenges you, you know, and I love her for that, you know. For me, the peak experience, Kate Bush. Love Kate Bush. The first album is probably the one that I always go to, just because that was the first time I heard her and I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. She's my age, you know. So I'm this dumb 20-year-old kid and she brings this out. It's like Elton John, because I was a huge Elton John fan. You know, he had that run of albums in the 70s, which is just untouched, I think, you know. Fantastic. Just an amazing album. It's got some just superb songs on it. It sounds incredible. The first track on this is amazingly dynamic. It starts off, and I remember playing it on CD. I brought the CD because when I listen to these speakers, and this is a track that I always listen to because there's big drums in it, and you get the right system, the right speaker. It's a big sound, but it starts off with just a little acoustic guitar, so it really fools you into thinking, oh, I've got to turn this up a little bit louder. But when it gets loud, it's so much louder. It's like, it's too loud. So here, that live in Australia. Now I went to this concert, first time anybody had played with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and since then everyone's done it. You know, Metallica, friggin' Meatloaf, you know, they've all played with orchestras, but he was the first one to do it. Sort of. Deep Purple did it, but he came out, played with the MSO. Half the MSO weren't very happy about it. They thought, you know, a pop band and all this thing. At the end of the tour, he gave them all a Rolex watch. You know, he said it was one of the greatest experiences of his life. This concert is one of the all-time concerts. It's, oh man, you know, I was sitting there listening to Elton John with the MSO, and so it's all mic'd up, and it's all powerful, and it was a revelation. And there's Courtney Marie Andrews. And what a voice, what a beautiful, beautiful voice, and a beautiful songwriter. I treasure her albums, they're magnificent. That album, it's called Old Flowers. There's a song here called How You Get Hurt. Please. Yeah, just dehydrated by the time I finished listening to that. Recently, over the last probably year and a half, that I took a chance on. And I bought this because of the cover, essentially. Her voice is sensational. It's beautiful. And this is such a powerful record. I mean, sonically, oh, Jesus. And it's got some rap on it. You'd like to hear that. It fits well with the song. And that song, man, really, we're talking about pressurising the room with bass. This is the album that does it. But it's a hugely listenable album. It's beautiful. It's diverse in the type of songs that are on there. Creepy cover, which I really love, and I look, that's a real treasure. I play that a lot. There's this girl here, Halsey. Again, I knew the name, never heard her. You know, I think she's really bold, and the record is superb. Again, just one of these artists I've never listened to. And I said, Jesus, she's just so good. Electronic stuff I really like too, and this is one of the greats, Shpongle. Limited edition, number 765. These are worth a bomb, these things, but it's been since reissued. I think there's a 3LP version, which I never got, and you can't get for life of money now. But this is an amazing record. This is just, again, a friend of mine put me onto this, and it was just so different to everything else I'd heard, you know? It's just this bizarre electronic twinkly stuff. It's just a whole universe of sounds, you know. Yeah, again, you know, this is sort of like the Triple J sort of, which, you know, can't stand. But this is just such a nice little album. Great songwriters, really, really good stuff, and I really enjoy listening to this. Oh, actually, there's that, which is great, but even better, Preachers. This album is just beautiful. Love her voice is fantastic. Their songs are great. It's always about the songs. Here's something. Robert Goulet. I bought this, 1978. And because it was a director-disc recording, there weren't that many of them around, but they were coming out. This gear, this was the creme de la creme, the Sheffield Lab stuff, Director-disc, amazing dynamics. Everything sounds like it's in the room. It's ridiculous. Powerful stuff. And then this thing came out. I thought, I'm not going to buy that. Robert Goulet, what a great, Vegas sort of singer. Woeful. Sounds good. It sounds really nice, but it's so bad. It's called You're Something Special. Look at the sassy little thing standing there. Alita Adams. So this is an artist who can emote. Circle of One. Really bought this album for one track. It's called Everything Must Change. Life-changing song. One of the most beautiful songs of all time. Sounds good, great production, everything about it's great. So I was very happy to get a good copy of this. There's tons of them around, but they're always, in average condition. Here's a band I've seen a couple of times. Porcupine Tree. Fantastic band, they're just so dense. Their playing is just ridiculous. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's all prog rock and it's a bit nerdy and that, but you know what? It's some of his earlier stuff. It's just heavy riffs, big riffs. Band that has played with him or he's played with them or members of them. Speaking of prog rock and nerdy stuff, these guys, the Aristocrats. Now these guys know how to play. They are just machines. One of the great guitarists, one of the great bass guitarists, and one of the greatest drummers, all in one band, and it's phenomenal. There's a track called Get It Like That, dedicated to Neil Peart from Rush. Marco Miniman is the drummer, and the drum solo in this is it's off the charts. And I play it here, and I play it ear-bleedingly loud. And of course, the Leonards don't break a sweat. They just love it, and the dynamics are huge. But that's a real fun album. Well, speaking of nerdy, here you go, one more. Tina Arena. This is her, I think they're her last or second. I think maybe the latest. There's some beautiful songs on it, a couple of really, really amazing songs on it. I think she's a star. I went to see her. She did a tour called Enchanté about 2 years ago. Went to see it, and I reckon it was the closest I'd ever get to see, closer that I would ever in my lifetime get to see a Barbra Streisand on stage. She had such command of the stage. She was so flawless in her performance. The orchestra were magnificent. She was superb, costume changes, banter. The songs are great. She did a Kate Bush song, which was magnificent. But I sat there and I was amazed. I knew she was going to be good. I just didn't realise she was elevated to that level. Little Italian girl. And she still speaks like an Italian Melbourne girl. She goes, this weather's giving me the shits, Yeah, it's hilarious, And she was, it was funny, and her mum was there. But on stage, man, she just takes over. What a talent. And, nobody here knows her. They know her, but it's like, she's one to see. You've got to see it. And that's what I say Barbra Streisand, because that's what I'd imagine Barbra Streisand would do. She'd be on stage, larger than life, command the stage. And when she sang, you'd just be, this is something else. For an Australian Melbourne girl, world class in every respect.